Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to BRAP. It is Wednesday, and got a lot to talk about. Did do a stream yesterday, if you guys caught it. Call of Duty. Yeah, I don't do like I don't really stream Call of Duty much. I was just talking to our guest this evening. We got with us Ham Solo Gaming. Ham, welcome to BRAP, sir. First time guest, and I'll be on your show tomorrow night. Looking forward to that too. So, but thank you, man. Thank you for joining us, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. I'm more than happy to be here, talk to you, hang out, kick it, talk about what's been going on in gaming, and I guess we're going to be talking a little bit about my history. You said something about that.
Yeah. Huh? Yes, absolutely. Okay. You want to talk about your gaming history? And for those who don't know, you have a YouTube channel, TSWS Gaming.
Yes,
I'll drop a link for that in the description later on. But yeah, no, man, seriously, it's great having you on. It's always nice having first time guests. And want to do if everyone in the live chat, if you could do me a quick solid here, please retweet the link or drop the link in your favorite social media platform. Let everyone know that we're live and that we have Ham Solo here. So want to give a big shout out to also to everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. See the usual suspect. Game Logic says, I'm here for the gossip, rumors, drama, and tears. Thank you for that, Game Logic. And Sergeant 30 says, hello, ready for some redacted show. Oh, my God. Okay. I get the redacted jokes, but we'll talk about that. And I just, yeah, I can't wait for that deal to be over with. But anyhow, but yeah, we're going to talk about the Xbox. The Xbox. Microsoft making deals with other cloud game streaming services, and also there's the FTC isn't happy with Microsoft right now, as they've requested some documentation regarding Microsoft's third-party deals, like with Nintendo and Nvidia. Microsoft hasn't provided those documents to talk about that. And then rumors of a PS5 Pro already. I feel like that's just a matter of time that we'll be talking about a Pro console. Anyways, because that was introduced to us last console generation. And then, unfortunately, we'll talk about more layoffs at Meta. I mean, Silicon Valley's just getting beat to poop right now. I'm not going to say the S word because I don't want to get demonetized. But they're getting beat up. They're getting beat up pretty bad. So, but then, like as I mentioned, we have Ham Solo here. We're going to talk about his gaming history. But again, Ham, certainly it's awesome having you on the show. As I mentioned, I'm going to be on your show tomorrow night. You had one of our panel members and also co-host of the DPS podcast. You had Mr. Slummo Backslap on today. I don't know if you know this, Ham, but we refer to, or Slummo's nickname is King KD. I don't know if he told you that, but that's his nickname.
No. Why is that his nickname?
Because he is nasty when it comes to first-person shooters, like just nasty. So I call him King KD. His kill death is just ridiculous. Now, he's very modest about it.
I'm sure he is. He doesn't want to gloat.
Yeah. So Ham, I have talked quite a bit extensively about my gaming history. I have been gaming for about 41 years, if I'm being exact. I'm still in my 40s. I just started very, very young with the Atari 2600 when a time, and I heard you talk about retro consoles, a time when we used to purchase games off of the box art and how good the box art looked.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'd flip over the back and, oh, look at the graphics on the back. Oh, it's amazing. You know, that kind of stuff. So
absolutely.
Those are the days.
Tasty times.
Yes.
Tasty times.
Tasty times indeed. But tell me a little bit about your gaming history and how long you've been gaming. I do know you work at a video game store. But tell me a little bit about how you got into gaming and how long you've been gaming.
Man, oh man, that's a long time ago. So I'm like about to be 35 here in August and whatnot. So I'm not like Mr. Forte. I haven't been around that long, but I've been around enough for sure. When I started out gaming, the popular console in my household was the Sega Genesis. So I had one of those. I mostly played like Mortal Kombat when I was young. Road Rash 2 was really big. There is a Justice League game that I don't remember the name of off the top of my hand. It sure wasn't Kill the Justice League, I tell you that much. But it was, but man, there was some great games during that time. What was it? Bill Walsh was really big. Madden back in the early times.
Oh man, you brought up Bill Walsh. Wow.
Yeah, man, I was big into football, and I tell you what, man, one of the big reasons I was big into football is because my household was huge in football. My brother, at the time when I was starting to play, like Sega Genesis and like Bill Walsh and stuff like that, he was like the high school star of the state, like getting the Gatorade player of the state and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
We lived in Nebraska. He played for this school called Southeast, and he got offered a scholarship at the University of Nebraska, but decided to choose Notre Dame.
Whoa. Hold on. Wait, your brother played at Notre Dame?
Yeah.
That is, but Notre Dame is
cornerback for Notre Dame. Yeah.
Okay, that. First of all, that's awesome because I grew up watching Notre Dame football. Like they were like the first collegiate football team. I just happened one day to turn on the TV, and this is like 1987, by the way. So I'm dating myself here. This is 87.
Okay.
When Lou Holtz was head coach. And
Lou Holtz was my brother's first coach, and then it was Bob Davie.
Oh, Bob! Oh my God, dude, first of all, that is awesome. That is awesome. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Ham Solo.
Yeah, so it was really cool because like I started out playing these games on Sega and whatnot, but as I got a little bit older, my stepfather had a PlayStation, and he got it like when it was like brand new. And if you remember the old PlayStations back in the day, it had like the composite on the back of the PlayStation. So you plugged in the yellow, white, and red on the back, and then you plugged it also into your TV. It wasn't until the later editions of the original PlayStation that it had the actual like plug-in thing that you would usually see on like a PS2 or a newer version of PlayStation 1. So it was like the old original like Sony PlayStation. I played a lot of Ridge Racer during that time. Was it like Namco Museum?
Namco, yeah, the Namco Museum,
yeah. The Namco Museum was really big on that. We used to play. What's that one game where you're like flying forward? Oh man, like something Harrier, Space Harrier, or something like that. It was something Harrier.
There was a Space Harrier for Sega.
Yes, it was for Sega that ended up in one of these games that I'm thinking of. Dude, it was pretty insane back then. We had the L shape multi-tap to be able to play our 4-player games and stuff like that. But the reason I brought up the PlayStation is because down like a little bit later, a game called NCAA Football ended up coming out after Bill Walsh and stuff like that. So if you remember those times, my brother was in the Game Breakers before they went to NCAA Football.
Really?
Yeah, because remember, like, so if you remember Game Breaker way back, it was before NCAA Football came out. It was before 2K was even really a thing. Yeah. It was just for like the Sony PlayStation. I think that's the only console that Game Breaker actually came on. But it was a dope college game. I think it was made by the same people that made Game Day as well, 989 Sports.
Yeah, 989 Sports,
Oh, man, it was fantastic. My favorite 989 Sports was probably Game Day with Jerome Bettis on the cover.
You know, it's funny. I remember Game Day. I remember firing up the PlayStation and seeing like the intro to Game Day. And I was like, oh, my God, this is so real. Remember the introduction, like just the production values in that game? I mean, it was like It was just like next level football.
Oh yeah, anytime right after you pick the play, the announcer would come on, 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line, and then you'd be like, "Oh snap, here it goes."
I mean, it was so. It was.
Oh,
I mean,
man, it was fun.
I mean, we had voiceover in like in the previous generation, the Sega Genesis with like Joe Montana sports talk football. Remember that?
Oh yeah, so like Joe Montana football, I remember. So like my stepdad had a friend that would bring over his Sega CD.
Sega.
And they had, yeah, exactly. So like you had to plug up that Genesis off to the side of it, or if you had the top and bottom version of it, where the CD is directly under the Genesis or whatnot. But my dad's buddy had the one where you slide it into the side and whatnot. And yeah, he had Joe Montana football, and it was okay. It was not that great, bud. I remember the fun games that I used to play around that time was probably like, what was that game called? Like Desert Strike. Do you remember that game?
Is that the one with the helicopters?
Yes.
Was it an EA game or no?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, I remember a helicopter,
I think it had the yellow tab on it, which means it was EA.
It was EA, yeah. And I remember you had planes, I think, and I vaguely remember playing that, but yes, I do remember that game. I mean, that was yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to do like we never ended up like, it was my stepfather's friend that always brought over the CD, so I didn't really get a whole lot of time with that, so I ended up buying one when I got older. But yeah, I was mostly into the Genesis at first, and then it went into the original Sony PlayStation. And then
wait, real quick, Ham, do you remember a game Herzog Zooey? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It was an RTS developed by Technosoft. It was published by Sega, but I remember playing that RTS game on the Genesis, man, and we played it all the time. I mean, it was so good. But I'm sorry, go ahead, man.
I remember Toe Jam and Earl.
Yes.
And Taz in Space with
Taz! Yes!
You remember Taz in Space, dude?
Oh my god, I remember thinking like, this looks so real.
It was insane. Yeah, because you had Marvin the Martian that was in the game. He was trying to get you the whole dang time. Yeah, Sega. I absolutely love Sega. That is the joint right there. But yeah, then the Sony PlayStation. The PlayStation.
By the way, Tasmania is the one. I'm sorry.
Relation.
Yeah, Tasmania is the game that I played. Taz Escape from Mars was the one with Marvin the Martian. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But no, did you ever play the X-Men game on Sega Genesis? I thought it was pretty good too.
I have
it
still to this day. Yeah,
nice.
I have the box and everything for it. Yeah, you can choose Gambit, Wolverine. What's that? The blue dude. Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah. And I think there was one other person that I'm forgetting. Dang it. Which is Cyclops. Duh, Cyclops. And yeah, you end up going versus Magneto, and he's like the center of the screen, and he's all electric and stuff like that. Oh man, that game was fantastic. And like you could call in, or you couldn't really call in things, but things would like trigger and come in, like Storm would come on or something like that during your playthrough.
I'm sorry. Game Logic just said Amy Hennig worked on Desert Strike. Wow. The famed Amy.
She's been in the game for a long time.
She has been in the game. She has been in the game for a while. I mean, she went from Jungle Strike to working on with Naughty Dog. Yeah, and Forspoken. Yeah, I mean that's wow. Yeah, I just Genesis was such a memorable experience for me as a gamer. I mean, I was really poor, probably more Nintendo 8-bit era, and then there was just like cool factor about Genesis at the time when that came out. So
I forgot all about Greatest Heavyweights boxing with like Ollie and all those guys. Like Frazier was in it, and this was a Sega game where they used to talk trash to you while you're boxing.
See, I don't
So
think
they used to call
I
you
don't
a
remember playing
sucker, sissy, and stuff like that while you're fighting, and you'd have to whoop their butts. I mean, I don't want to curse on your
Yeah,
show,
no worries.
yeah, you had to kick their butts, but yeah, there's just so many great games that were on the Genesis. NBA Jam. I hated Aladdin, and I hated.
Really, you didn't like? I liked Aladdin.
I did not. I sucked at that game. I sucked at Aladdin, and I sucked at what was it, Lion King. For some reason, me and Disney just didn't. We didn't have a good time together. But I love Shaq Fu. That was good.
Yeah, I remember Shaq Fu, but I did like Aladdin. I enjoyed that game. That was kind of like my. I thought it was a good game, but yeah, Lion King was okay.
I tell you what, my eyes really opened up though in the PlayStation. Like when I first got my own PlayStation, like.
Mm-hmm.
And not like the stepdads and whatnot. I had my own actual PlayStation, and it was insane the kind of stuff that you could do if you kind of think back on that old PlayStation. I used it for music. I used it for games. Obviously, I mean, so I was really big into like Gran Turismo 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was really big into Gran Turismo 2. I actually absolutely loved that game. The Escudo Pikes Peak. That was the car to have in that game because it had like over 1,000 horsepower or something like that. It was insane. Space Jam. I used to play the crap out of that game when I was young. Back in the day, they used to have this game called Dragon Ball Z Final Bout. And they had another one called Dragon Ball Ultimate Fighter 22, in which you needed a Japanese PlayStation to be able to play.
Oh, wow.
But if you had like a game, there's this Game Shark thing that you could buy that you could plug in like
I remember
this
the Game
memory
Shark
card unit. You could plug in this like memory card unit, you put a disc in, and there's this little thing in the back of the tray where it would push down on this button to let the tray or let the PlayStation know that the tray is closed. I had to put a spring on that thing. It came with this package of this like Game Shark package thing that I got. And I had to put a spring into that. So anytime I wanted to play a Japanese game, I had to put in the Game Shark disc. The Game Shark disc would load up. And since that spring was in there, it would tell me when to open up open up the disc tray. And then it'd say insert, import game. And I'd put in the Dragon Ball Z Final Bout or whatnot. And it just worked off of there. And it was so cool. It felt like I was like tricking the system when I was a kid at that time. You know what I mean? Because you just feel like a kind of a badass. Oh, I broke through the firewall. And now I can finally play these Japanese games, and I really have no idea what's going on, but this is fun. It was a great, honest time in gaming for me. But I went from that to an N64. Got Smash Brothers and obviously like the usual suspect games like Mario 64, yada yada yada, Mario Kart, all that stuff. But I really like Turok Rage Wars if I'm reaching a little bit. Let's see, Chef's Love Shack was a big game that I really loved for my N64. Sounds goofy. It's a South Park game. No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000.
Oh,
also
dude,
was it WCW versus NWO?
NWO, yes,
Revenge?
yes.
I believe I thought there was like a Sunday Night Heat game or something, but maybe there wasn't.
Yeah. I just remember like
that. Oh no, I'm thinking of Nitro. I'm thinking of WCW Nitro.
I just remember like
also on 64.
Yeah, I just remember like WCW versus NWO, and then No Mercy were like the two like best like wrestling games at that time.
Oh, by far, WrestleMania set the stage, and then No Mercy just crushed the game. Absolutely, because they had TLC matches in it. They actually had words in like some of the songs, or at least more words, a lot more words than before, and it was a little bit more clarity than before. But obviously, cartridge games weren't doing the same thing as the disc games were when it came to sound at all. So it was what it was. Really liked my 64 quite a bit though, but from there I moved on to Dreamcast. Actually kind of took a different approach. I did not go with the PlayStation first. I went, even though the PlayStation 2 was out by that time, because I was a kid, I wasn't like I am today, where it's like, oh, it's out and available now, I can just go cop it. I was a kid. I had to trade in all my stuff to level up. It was very much like that for a lot of people at that time. I got rid of almost everything I had to move on to the next generation, pretty much. So I moved on to the Dreamcast, and man, that was insane. When I got to the Dreamcast, sports games became more alive, in my opinion, with the introduction to like 2K Sports.
Yeah.
Sega Sports, actually.
Yeah, 2K.
Actually, Sega Sports was the ones that primarily had that title. I know 2K is part of all that and whatnot, but I know Sega Sports actually ended up going away.
Yeah, there was like Sega Sports and then 2K, but 2K was, I mean, like Game Logic, NFL 2K, I thought really raised the bar for football games on the Dreamcast, and I thought really kind of
basketball games too, man. Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah, and I just remember I remember was it 2K3 or 2K4? I don't remember. It was the one with when they started partnering with ESPN. Remember they had the ESPN logo on the 2K game.
It was 2K. I think it might have been like 2K. I think it was just called ESPN Football. Maybe
it was. ESPN,
maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But they ended up having 2K5 with Terrell Owens on the cover. And I remember that one was the 2K5, big deal.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. That was the big one. Yeah. That was the one really That one was a direct shot straight to EA, just to let them know that, hey, we can make a better game and we could sell it for cheaper. It was the better game, in my opinion.
It was easily a better game. No disrespect to Madden at that time, because Madden was fun during that time. Madden didn't start really declining until they lost competition. Once they lost competition from anybody else, then they were like, all right, we can just chill. And then they ended up coming out with games that sucked.
Yeah, they locked down that licensing agreement with the NFL. And actually, I think it was right after that release of NFL 2K5.
It was.
That they locked down the license agreement with the NFL. It's just like, you're right, like Madden Madden is, look, I play it now with my son. It is what it's just Madden, but it's not as good as I remember Madden being back in the days, but
it's not as fun. It's not, I don't know. It's just not the same. I mean, I can sit here and whine about Madden all day long. I've done it before. I'm not a fan of Madden as much as I used to be back in the day. But yeah, as for the Dreamcast, going back to that, so what was that game that I really loved for the Dreamcast? I'm trying to think. Oh man, what was it? Yeah, Marvel versus Capcom. With the theme music,
yes,
I'm gonna
Marvel
take you
Capcom,
for a ride.
Yep.
I remember, man, that theme song was too much, man. I love that joint. That was a great game. Shenmue, I still love that game to this day. Code Veronica's where I first played, where I first got into I first attempted to get into Resident Evil. To this day, I'm still not into Resident Evil, but I tried with the Dreamcast first.
Real quick, Ham Solo. Nate says, "Funny you should mention the effects of loss of competition." We'll get to that in a little bit, Nate. Well, let me fast forward here, Ham Solo, to present day. So what do you
What's
primarily? What time are you? Are you still doing a lot of retro stuff? Or are you kind of a mix retro and because I know before we went live you mentioned you kind of you're going back and getting some retro stuff. So is it a combination of retro and like newer stuff today? And then with the newer stuff, like what platforms are you primarily gaming on right now?
Oh, if I'm keeping it a buck, I'm on my Xbox every day. I'm
Okay.
on my Xbox every single day. And everything else is just like sprinkles on top. So Dreamcast, my 360 original Xbox, PS5, all that stuff, to be honest, is what gets turned on when I got a game that I really want to play on it. But for the most part, what I turn on day to day, what I'm beating games on weekly or however many days apart from whichever, is on the Xbox for the most part. I do dabble with getting some third-party games for my PS5, but for the most part, it's on Xbox.
So are you playing like a lot of stuff in Game Pass? Assuming you subscribe to Game Pass, or are you like playing like just random stuff? Like I know it'd be random on Game Pass anyway, but just are you playing like specific types of games on the Xbox?
So it just kind of depends on the time of year, really. So as of right now, I've been eating quite a bit of Game Pass for the start of the year. But towards the end and in a bit of last year, it was quite a bit of games I bought. I absolutely loved. I bought 2K. 2K22 or whatever the new one is. I think it's 23 that I got. 2K23 at launch because of Game Pass. Thanks a lot. And then I ended up because they were sneaky with it. They put 2K22 in there for like a couple months and then ripped it out of there and then said, "Guess what's new? 2K23 is out." And I was like, "You son of a!" And so I ended up buying it. I've been playing quite a bit of that. I ended up purchasing Callisto Protocol for my PS5. Played quite a bit of that. But since you're talking about strictly for my Xbox, I like to like when I have a lull in games or like, Xbox didn't have a whole lot come out for it first party wise last year, right? So I ended up getting a ton of retro stuff through Xbox and playing a lot of that stuff on there that I couldn't really find on my 360 anymore and some of the original Xbox games. And I just went back and played some stuff that I missed out on. And like I said, I was playing a lot of like multiplayer games as well. So when Call of Duty came out, copped that last year for my Xbox. I think I said just a little bit ago, Need for Speed, Unbound, I copped that. There's been several other games. You know what game I copped that I really didn't like not that long ago was Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Which was that? Is that the last? Is that the last? That's the last Ghost Recon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
the
last one, and no, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. No, not even slightly. But shoot, when I get into certain games on my Xbox, like here's a game that I have over 140 days on, and that's Ark Survival Evolved. I play games like that sometimes, and will just not really be playing anything else.
Nice.
For a long time.
I hear you, man. Yeah, those games, you can get lost in those games,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. No, so no, that's awesome, man. I mean, like, it's like you mentioned, like just like, you have utilizing Game Pass. There's actually a lot of like older stuff in there that if you haven't played, it even on like PlayStation Plus, like if you PlayStation Plus, that's the one thing I like about the subscription services is that like if you're someone who's looking to play older games, those could be viable options for you as a consumer. Where you can go.
I have PlayStation Plus Premium as well. I like the older games. I have Hot Shots Golf downloaded.
Oh man, Hot Shots a lot of fun. Man.
that game was fantastic. I remember when it was a demo on the original PlayStation.
Yep. Oh man,
that and Wipeout was on there. I remember the Siphon Filter. I remember all that.
Siphon Filter. Oh, Sony Ben Studios, man, or Ben Studios. Yeah. Oh man, I would love to see another Siphon Filter. Probably won't ever happen.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, that would be insane. But yeah, oof, that brings back memories. So Ham, no, I appreciate you kind of, sharing your gaming history, man, with us, and that's it's a great story, man. Like, and just, I think a lot of us have had many of us who game have had very similar experiences, and can recall games that we just remember or think fondly of from like way back in the day. So, but I do want to move on to some topics here.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we have more layoffs at Meta. Meta announced that they're going to lay off another 10,000 employees.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, man, Silicon Valley's getting beat up. I mean, and it's interesting. The work that I do, I see more technology professionals that are coming out of the big five, the big tech firms. That a couple months ago wasn't the case, and some of them are still working at the Amazons, the Microsofts. I've hired some people from Microsoft more recently. And again, it's the concern of, I don't know what's going to happen, and some of these, for the folks that are still there, some of them unfortunately were let go because of the downsizing, and I've actually quite recently seen a lot of people from Amazon kind of, make their way to the job market. Again, these individuals weren't necessarily candidates that I saw a couple months ago, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. That's probably the only way to describe it. I mean, 10,000. I mean, they laid off like 10,000 before, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'd have to double check. I feel like they laid off 10,000 employees prior.
Thought it was like something like 8 or whatever, back in December.
Yeah, I'm double checking here right now. So they're laying off another 10,000 employees. It's about 13% of its workforce. In November they laid off 11,000 people.
Oh, it was more, and it was 1 month back. Okay.
Yeah, they're closing about 5,000 job postings that have yet to be filled. So they're slowing down on hiring there.
Could you imagine having an interview, waiting for that call back, and see that on the news? Like, I ain't getting that call back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, at its peak last year, Meta had 87,000 full-time employees. Man, it's just a lot.
A ton.
Yeah, so it's just, but yeah, I mean, this is. I feel for the people that are impacted. I mean, this is, and it kind of makes me nervous because professionally, what I do, anytime I see this kind of stuff, it kind of makes me nervous a little bit. Like, and I hear it in conversations too. It was like, oh my God, big tech is going, is really hurting. There's these layoffs, and sometimes people think that that's happening in other industries. But if you look at the job report, the job reports for January and February have been pretty positive. The job market has been is doing pretty well for the most part, considering some of the sizable layoffs at Meta. So yeah, I think you and Slomo talked about this on your show today, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So I was trying to listen, and I was in and out of calls, but what were you guys talking about in terms of the layoffs at Meta?
So I was asking Slomo like his opinion on it when I looked at this and I seen Mark Zuckerberg use the term like leaning or something like that. I'm gonna pull it up real quick to get the exact verbiage that he said, because he called it something particular, which here, let me just pull it up.
What's interesting, why you pull that
year
up?
Of efficiency. Year of efficiency.
Yeah,
is what he called it. And when I heard that, I'm not gonna lie. When I heard that, I first thought of Elon Musk and kind of what he did when he ran into Twitter. He just kind of got in there, looked around, it seemed like, and he was just like, we don't need any of y'all, and just mass fired people. To where Zuckerberg, it kind of reminds me of that, but at the same time, Zuckerberg's been with the company for quite some time. So it's going to be like kind of a different take in that aspect. And it seems like Zuckerberg's admitting when he calls it the year of efficiency, what he's saying is we haven't been efficient at all. And well, I'm just interested to see what he means by efficient at this point.
Well, I mean, you know, they've sunk a lot of money into
money pit
to VR. You know, and I think they've lost. God, I gotta look at the numbers again. They lost a lot. They lost billions. I'll put it at that. I think it was. I want to say 22 billion. I'd have to look these numbers up again. I did see them earlier today. How much they've lost in VR investment, but they burned through some cash. I mean, I think at one point, maybe Q4, they lost 13 billion. Actually, now I'm curious. Let's see here.
I think they've been doing too much toe dipping, and it's costed them too much money. Trying things out instead of just going a specific direction and just going extra hard at it. They've left open a lot of windows to let something silly happen, like money to fly off in one direction and then another direction, and crap, now we got to fire people.
So Gabe Lodge says, so it's maybe more so arguably irresponsible over hiring that is the root rather than cost controlling measures now. Yeah, I think there was a lot of over hiring. I think big tech in general. You know, especially during the pandemic. But yeah, so they've lost 13.7 billion in operating losses for Reality Labs for 2022. So yeah, I mean they are. I mean, but he's doubling down on the metaverse, you know, and you know I don't know, man. When I think about his idea of metaverse, I always think of Ready Player One, and I feel like we're just far from that. I understand the investment.
Well, the advertisement's like, here's a world, and it's like, okay, what am I doing? And he's like, but here's a world, and it's just like I don't know what you. I don't feel like there's any real reason. He's not really pulling anybody into Meta properly. My buddy Matt in the chat earlier said, like, yo, Meta needs to have like a killer app, and they just don't have one yet.
You know, aren't they doing yeah, Game Lodge, you're right, but Game Lodge, Fortnite's the only successful metaverse. I mean, it's well said. Yeah, they have like they're supposed to have like concerts or something. I think with Meta. No, I thought that's one of the things they had talked about.
They're supposed to do the Notorious B.I.G. thing too.
Yes, that was it. Yeah,
have like a live concert. Yeah, it's silly. Like I checked it out and I was just like, dude, I would never buy an Oculus for that. Like that's cool and all, but there's also YouTube where I can actually see the real concert or whatever. And I can use my Oculus to watch that. So it seems like I'm kind of there. So, I mean, if you're advertising concerts as something that's a reason to buy your headset, like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, again,
I don't care about watching basketball games, spilling like I'm sitting on the 50-yard line at the next Broncos game.
I'm not gonna lie, Ham Solo. Hey, that would be, and I know there's something that I think isn't there an app that offers that like for basketball games? I gotta look this up. I feel like someone is either doing that now or getting ready to do that, but I gotta be honest with you, like if they could offer seating at a 50-yard, I might have to sign up for that. Because that is kind of cool.
Yeah, but see, it's kind of cool. It's not mind-blowing.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think it might be mind-blowing. I say why, because imagine like if you were, and again, I'm gonna use my imagination. Let my imagination run wild here. Imagine like, you know, so are you a Broncos fan? I heard you say Broncos. That's why.
I am. You got me.
So imagine like you got the VR going on and you got your tickets for the 50-yard line, but you can walk the sideline.
Hey,
and
now you're
next to Russell Wilson. I mean, he can't see you, but you know what I mean? Like you just get that field perspective.
I mean, hey, if you gave me more options than just like a camera that just sits there and you just turn your head and look one way and turn your head and look the other way, that sounds fantastic.
Look, I'll say this. But, yeah. VR will work. We know VR will be successful if it takes off in the adult entertainment industry. The adult entertainment industry will decide whether or not this thing works out. Just like it has with other technologies in the internet.
Not lying, because it makes pretty much. I mean, it makes the money. It makes a crap ton of money.
It helped with it helped decide the VHS. I think Betamax wars. It helped with DVDs. It helped. When the internet came out, the internet helped
versus Blu-ray.
Yeah, it helped the internet take off. So. Game Logic says it has. It's the most lucrative segment in the VR market. Imagine that. I'm not surprised. Game Logic. Thank you for that insight, sir. But,
but as you see, he just said that it's already there, and it's clearly not enough.
Yeah, but VR seats for Commanders games, and nobody can see your tears. Oh, come on, Gregor Von Duke. Hey, leave the Commanders alone, man.
Disrespect. Let's go.
I know. That is true. So no, people will see my tears. God, I hope they sell that team. So that's another conversation. So again, just unfortunate. That's just a lot. Geez, 22,000 people are going to be impacted by layoffs there. So, all right, let's move on to PlayStation 5 Pro. So here we are. And
as soon as it drops, BRAP's gonna buy it. That's what Slow-Mo told me.
You know what? Slow-Mo, where is Slow-Mo, by the way?
Is Forte gonna hop in here and let you know when it's available so you can be the first to cop it?
Forte will call me when pre-orders are up. Like, hey, you want to pre-order this? Forte will take pictures of like inventory he has and like just send it to me because he knows I might call him up and be like, hey man, is that still available? Can I buy it and ship it to me? Yeah, but yeah, no, that's look, Slow-Mo's not wrong. I would probably buy it. It just look, man, I like the shiny new toys, man. I like the shiny new toys, but there's a new report from Insider Gaming suggests that Sony's making a PlayStation 5 Pro. It may release in 2024. That would put the release of the PS4 Pro at what? 4 years after the release of the PlayStation 5? Right? 2020 is when the new console's released, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 years.
Because end of 2024, it would be exactly almost.
Yeah, and according to there, I believe. So according to this also, to this report also claims that next generation PlayStation consoles, PlayStation 6 will not be released until at least 2028. And so, but look, here we are, PlayStation 5 Pro. This is. I feel like this is just par for the course at this point, man. Like we had the Pro consoles last console gen. And now we have the PlayStation 5 Pro in 20. They're saying 2024. So that's 4 years into the console generation. They'll have midway point if you believe that the PS6 will release. God, that's crazy to say PlayStation 6, especially if you're talking about PlayStation, the original PlayStation. But look, again, so that would put at presumably the halfway point. What are your thoughts about the Pro consoles, Ham Solo? I don't mind them. I don't have any issues with them. I've heard some people voice, I don't want this. Why are they giving us something? But I think this is for people who want the new shiny thing. And maybe this could lead to again, I'm speculating here. Maybe this leads to a cheaper price point in the PlayStation 5, and that maybe increases the adoption rate of the PlayStation 5. Maybe people who are sitting on PS4s that haven't upgraded. Although I would imagine, I don't know. I feel like why wait? Anyhow, I'll get to that point later on. But Hansel, I just want to get your thoughts, man, on the PS5 Pro.
Hey, if they make it a little more pleasing for my desk, that'd be nice.
You're saying so aesthetically big. Pleasing?
Yeah, it's just a big son of a bee. It's massive. It's surprisingly big. But I mean, hey, it's a nice system. Like, it works fantastic. I haven't had any problems with it. The only thing I'm kind of wondering about this, like, hearing about PlayStation 5 Pro and all this stuff, I'm just like, I wonder, like, how much new stuff will come out just for that or something. And I just don't think there is going to be a whole lot that's just like PlayStation Pro only, or how, remember the series, not the series, the Xbox One X had like One X enhanced and stuff like that. I'm wondering if they're going to do something like that with like the PS4, like Pro enhanced or something like that, or if they're going to like make it an in-zone version based on like some of the headsets and monitors and stuff like that they have coming out. I'm wondering if it's exactly necessary though. And I mean, whether they do it or not, I don't care. I'm cool with it. And if they do decide to do it, I might be in the market for it, or depending on what it can do. But I mean, these consoles that we have right now, the Series X, PS5 and whatnot, they already do a ton of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious as to what a Pro version would really do, because I mean, it ain't like it's going to go up to the next. It's not going to go to 165 hertz. And now it's able to do display ports. Like, I don't think they're going to do that. Maybe, because like I said, they do have those like in-zone monitors and stuff like that go with it. So would it be insane to see like DisplayPort option on it? I think so, but hey, anything's possible, like Kevin Garnett said, I guess, right? So I just need to see more from this generation. PlayStation is doing pretty well with putting out some games, at least like last year they were really well with it. The year before was a little quiet. It seems like each year, like as of right now, if I'm being quite honest as an Xbox gamer, it seems like each year one of the consoles kind of have a blow to dish out. The first year Sony came out hot with like Miles Morales and like Demon Souls and all that stuff, Returnal on into 2021. But Xbox had some pretty nice stuff. I know Psychonauts went to PlayStation as well, but this S and X version and stuff like that for Xbox, Halo, Forza, and a few other pretty good games, and Game Pass was pretty good for 2021. 2022 is kind of sore for Xbox, but good for PlayStation with Horizon, Gran Turismo, and God of War, obviously. And then this year, it's like, oh, now Xbox is coming with Hi-Fi Rush. They got Starfield, Redfall, Forza's supposed to come out. And it's just like they're trading back and forth a little bit. I feel like PlayStation's maybe been punching a little bit harder for sure. But I don't think, even with all those games I've mentioned, that any of them, I mean, we have yet to see from like Starfield and like Redfall and all this stuff. But what I'm trying to say is we haven't got like the full potential out of our consoles as it is yet, in my opinion. We're just now hearing about, the Horizon new update that's supposed to take complete advantage of the PS5.
Yeah, the DLC.
Yeah. Exactly. The Last of Us Part 1, when that was, the remake came out that was able to take full advantage of the PlayStation 5. Ratchet and Clank take full advantage. There's only been really a handful of games that are taking full advantage of the PS5. And then if you go over and look over at Xbox, it's like, what game is taking full advantage of the Series X? We don't even know yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, PlayStation, sure, they have a lead in the games, but neither one of these consoles have really told me, hey, you need to run out and get a Pro by the end of next year because of this, and that. I tell you what, a PlayStation 5 Pro ain't gonna save Forspoken. It's not gonna save that game. Mm-hmm. That game had a hard time on PC on the 4090.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering what this Pro really is gonna do. What's gonna be so cool about it? And like I said, I might be in the market for it if they advertise it right. Hey, Sony is great at advertising. They are. But what's going to be so great about this compared to what I got right now? I need to see some more of that before I say, oh man, yeah, I'll go out and run and buy one now. I mean, it sounds cool. PlayStation Pro sounds cool. Xbox Series S and X Pro. I mean, all that stuff sounds fantastic. It sounds like it's going to be the next generation kind of feeling, but it's at the same time you look back and you're like, well, what is really taking advantage of what I got now?
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to get like higher resolution and maybe higher FPS, things like that. Maybe they'll
how are they going to go past 120 though?
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, well, I would say maybe with games that are more demanding, they're able to push the the FPS up a little bit higher. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like I again, I maybe ray tracing. I feel like that's always a buzzword. But you mentioned something about the the design of the PlayStation 5. I think it's ugly. I think the PlayStation 5 is an ugly console.
I'm telling you, it's not. It's a binder that's half open.
It is. It's like a Trapper Keeper. Remember those?
Yes, I used to have this basketball one. The basketball. It said Pro on the front of it, and you could rub your fingers. It felt like a basketball on the front.
Yes.
And if you overfilled it, it looked exactly like a PS5.
Oh my gosh, that's but I don't. It's not a visually. I mean, like I have mine like upright, vertical.
And no, you're a dangerous man.
I know I'm a dangerous man. No, it's not liquid metal as people were saying. Game Logic and the UIs, but Logic. I don't know if I agree with that, sir. That sounds like cap. Anyhow, no,
it depends on what part of the UI you're talking about, because there is some really cool things about the UI on PlayStation, and then there's some like what the heck moments, like when you're looking up settings. Like sometimes they have controller in like 2 or 3 different spots, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Put it all in one spot. But I don't know. I mean, navigating around there, the only thing I don't like about the PlayStation navigation is probably the party chat system.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. Like it's not as I feel like with both UIs of the Xbox and PlayStation, I feel like they're just too busy.
Oh, the Xbox one is just so dated, man. It's mega dated. And I tell you,
my favorite UI was on the 360.
The capturing is terrible.
Yeah, the capturing
is terrible on the Xbox.
Yeah, no, it is. But I'd like to see like a redesign of the PlayStation 5. If there's a Pro, because they did it with the PlayStation 4. You remember that? It looked like they just kind of it was different. It was a little bit. I don't know. It looked like they stacked another PlayStation on top of it. But anyhow.
I know, right? It looked like they had an extra layer of flex on there.
Yeah, it was like, it's like you got a double cheeseburger and then they give you the triple cheeseburger. But no, I would like to see a redesign of the PlayStation 5. Again, I think it's an ugly console. I like the more simplistic design of the Series X, personally. But the PS5 is ugly. And I have it standing up horizontal because it's so big pause. That like it really doesn't like I can't. Yeah. I just
a lot of real estate.
Yeah, it's just I don't look. I like the design, the form factor of the DualSense, but I just think it's an ugly console. That's my point. And hopefully they go back to the drawing board.
Fantastic.
What's that?
So DualSense is fantastic. I wish it was a little bit more grippy, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I do too. And I'll tell you what, I just got the DualSense Edge, and I actually like the Elite 2 better than the DualSense Edge because
really, I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people are surprised to hear that too in the chat because I get accused of being a pony, even though I primarily game on PC. That's my primary gaming platform, and I just like I like the control. I like the triggers, how the triggers feel. I feel like they have a little more weight to them. And like when I press down on them, I don't know if that makes sense. But I just like them better for more competitive shooters than I do the DualSense Edge. No, I'll take a DualSense Edge over a DualSense any day. But I just feel like the trigger buttons. I don't like them as much on the DualSense Edge as I do the Elite 2 for competitive shooters. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, but look, don't get me wrong. I mean, the DualSense is a great controller for the PlayStation 5, and also I'll say that the DualSense is just a significant upgrade, in my opinion, to the DualShock controller.
No, by far, it's kind of silly.
Yeah,
it's kind of silly. I just think it's just not only is it aesthetically more pleasing, it's just more comfortable to hold on to. This is weighted differently. It's just better.
Yeah, is it GVS? I did get the extended warranty on the Elite 2 because of some of the issues with the Elite 2 controller.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
bumpers, bruh.
Yep. But I do want to move on to one sec here. Sorry, I gotta look something up here real quick. So I do want to talk about the ABK deal.
Oh boy.
Not one of my favorite topics to talk about because I feel like it's really gone. This thing's really spiraled out of control. Ham. So I think you heard my rant the other day. I think I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, I'm over it. Like I'm over the. I guess what one of the things that I take issue with is that, look, at the end of the day, like when people try to villainize corporations and try to say that one corporation is better than the other, no. Corporations exist to make money. They don't care about you. They care about money, and that's it. And so I think kind of what drives me a little crazy sometimes, not crazy. I think what I find, unfortunately, what I find. Hey, Froggy T White. By the way, feel free to not listen. And this is kind of the issue I have, Ham Solo, is that when you try to have a reasonable conversation, you get comments by like Froggy T White, like, here we go, dude. Like, be an adult and leave if you don't want to listen to it. Like, put on your big boy pants and leave. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like if you don't have anything thoughtful to add to the chat, and you just want to act like a child, please leave. Like, seriously. If it bothers you that much, you should just leave. But anyhow, so, but that's my thing. Like people, like the way people kind of like put like corporate like CEOs on these pedestals and kind of worship them in kind of weird ways. Like that's weird to me. That's not what gaming's about. Like we talked about like your gaming experiences and growing up, Ham Solo, like we weren't like worshiping like Miyamoto. You know what I mean? And we recognized and appreciate the creativity of Miyamoto and what's his name? Is it Shu Yuzuki? What's his name? The guy that made Shenmue and Afterburner for Sega. Oh my God, what's his name now? Anyhow, I can't remember. But you know, like Itagaki-san, we didn't put Itagaki-san on a pedestal. We didn't put, you know, the head of Nintendo on pedestals. We didn't do any of those things. You know, we just enjoyed gaming.
The people that did do that were freaking weird.
Yeah.
At that time period back then, like if you knew people in the industry and you were talking about it and you had all this like information, you were that dude in class that nobody wanted to talk to. That's with any of that kind of stuff. Like back in the day with that stuff, nobody cared. Nobody cares like they pretend to care now.
Yeah, thank you, Suzuki. Thank you, Bob Darkseid, for that. It looks like Jeeves had got his autograph. That's amazing. I mean, like we weren't like worshiping Kojima. People may do that now, but like
people do that.
We didn't, but we didn't put these corporations on a pedestal. Like in some of the arguments that I see, that Sony's being scared, or Microsoft is scared. No one is. They're not scared. And that's kind of the point of my rant. Like the hyperbole, the sensationalism, it really makes the gaming community look bad. Where it's like, you remember how when we were growing up, Hamsel, like if you were a gamer, it's almost you were stigmatized, you know?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, you're just a nerd, you're a dork, you know? But now we have ascended.
I heard Get a Life a few times.
Yeah, Get a Life, right?
I
mean, we've ascended now, and gaming's so much more mainstream. But these extremists are bringing that perspective on gamers as, oh, look at these gamers, you know, getting angry or ascribing, you know, human characteristic traits to corporations, or pretending like corporations actually care about them, or you know, saying that, you know, Jim Ryan is scared. You know, Jim Ryan is not scared. That man is paid well, and he's doing what a CEO is supposed to do, and that is protect the interest and bottom line of his organization. He has a fiduciary legal responsibility to do so. No one should expect Jim Ryan or Phil Spencer to act any different. That's it. So, but anyhow, that's my little rant there on that. But yeah, this was a big news item yesterday that Microsoft signed a deal with cloud service provider Boosteroid. That they are in the Ukraine, and basically what they're doing is they're bringing you know, the suite of Call of Duty games and Bethesda games to Boosteroid. So Phil Spencer says players deserve more choice than they have now when it comes to their favorite games. Today, we signed a 10-year deal with Boosteroid, enabling players to stream Xbox PC games, including Activision PC titles like Call of Duty, following after the close of the deal. So, Game Logic says Booster Who. That's actually what I said, Booster Who. I've never heard of Boosteroid. But for those who know, it's a streaming service. So basically, you have to own the games. Like you still have to go buy Call of Duty. If let's say Microsoft owns Call of Duty, you still have to buy the game in order to be able to stream games on this service. And they also just announced another deal today, a partnership, 10-year deal. Ubitus. And my understanding, Ubitus has done some work with Nintendo on their cloud stuff, some cloud-related stuff for Nintendo. But I'd never heard of them. So again, stream Xbox PC games as well as Activision Blizzard titles after the acquisition closes. I can't even talk. Blizzard titles after the acquisition closes. Our commitment is to give more players more choice. So I mean, look, Microsoft. I've said this before. They're saying the things they need to say to appease or alleviate concerns of regulators. I think that's why they're doing this. And they are, making deals to, try to show their commitment to not taking away choice from gamers, but to give gamers more choice where they can, access or experience their Microsoft's first-party content. So, I'll give my 2 cents after I get your opinion on this, Ham Solo. So what are your thoughts on these recent deals with Microsoft?
I mean, it's pretty much as simple as you said. I mean, I can have my point as well, but it's really exactly what you just got done saying. It's Microsoft trying to say, hey, look, we're playing ball. We're doing exactly what you asked, and we're getting to it now rather than later, so you can actually see that we care. Statement over.
No, I appreciate that. Short and concise, man, to the point. No, I that's look, I agree with you. They are doing what they need to do. Look, what they I mean they want to get this deal through. Their argument is, hey, look, we're reaching out to our partners, we're shaking hands, we're kissing babies.
You told me to walk the line. I'm walking the line.
Yeah, we want to show that we're committed to granting access to these games on other platforms that didn't have access before. And I think it's great for consumers to have access to content or to have options in how they experience content. But I will say this. I'm not sure. My opinion on this is I think it's more of a PR move. And look, and that's not a knock. This is what corporations do. They need to drum up public opinion that makes them look good, especially in midst of an M&A that is being contested. I mean, look, I say to people, look, because I think part of the things that the conversation I see around this acquisition, so it was that people say, okay, well, look, this is like they're Microsoft. There's really no issues with this deal. I don't know why the regulatory bodies are having an issue. Well, no, there is an issue. They do have an issue. There is something here, because if you go back and you look at Microsoft's last acquisition which was Bethesda ZeniMax, which was a $9 billion deal, we didn't see this level of concern, this level of pushback. We didn't. But that's because Activision is just ginormous. A lot of people are focused on Call of Duty. And yeah, obviously Call of Duty is the big get here. But there's other aspects of this deal that are under scrutiny. And when you look at, Activision as a publisher, they're just ginormous. They are, I think, the number 6 publisher. Game Logic. I don't know if you can look up those numbers, but I think they're like the number 6 publisher that doesn't actually have a console platform or a piece of hardware. But again, if you look at, thank you, Jeeves. They're the number 6 publisher. If you look at the size and scope of Bethesda ZeniMax, again, there weren't any issues there. Same regulatory bodies were like, okay, there's something different here. And I just wish that people would see that point, because that should tell you something. If you just look at it, if you look at, you look at just the amount, the size of the deal, the impact of the deal, the economies of scale are different here between the ZeniMax deal and the Bethesda deal. That should be the obvious as to why, there's some issues here. There's some concerns by the regulatory bodies. So, no, Rodimus, I'm not okay. Rodimus, dude, you gotta stop gaslighting, dude. Like, seriously, you gotta stop that. You come in this chat and you say stuff that, I didn't even say that. No one's saying the issue is the deal. Anyhow, but anyhow, again, I agree with you, Hamsel. I think they're doing things that they need to do. They are this is a PR move, and I saw a couple of other people in the chat say this is a PR move. And look, they need to do these things to try to appease or try to alleviate concerns of the regulatory body. So, I tweeted out, earlier today that, one of the things that, people have been saying is that, this promotes competition. And I just, no, I don't, I'm not of the belief that this promotes competition. I think Microsoft placing content, and I said this on a tweet today, Microsoft placing content on another platform is not competition. stop making those service providers competitive against Microsoft. And that is one of the regulatory concerns of this deal. And I'm probably going to do a rant on this and kind of go back into, I'll go back into to talk about this a little more in depth, because there's some other aspects of the regulatory concerns outside of, I think people are focused on, and I get it. Like, people say, oh, well, more gamers, that's positive. And I get that. But I do think there's other aspects to this that people are kind of skating by. And the one is, look, there is some concern that this deal could hurt the ability of new entrants to the subscription-based cloud gaming, business model, and that Microsoft could still use Game Pass as a tool to basically foreclose on competitors. And when we talk about Game Pass, we're talking about leveraging Game Pass as a loss leader strategy to make COD at a cheaper price, that at a price point that other competitors just don't have the ability to do. No, so Cycle Gamer, the point of the scale of the deal is to not say that you're saying, if my competitor can buy a few small houses, why can't I buy a bigger house? Is it because a competitor can't afford it? No, it's more than just that. Yes, the economies of scales are different, and because the economies of scales are different, the impact is going to be different to the industry. The potential impact is going to be different to consumers. The impact could potentially be different to competition as well. And with these deals that Microsoft's done, now the FTC has requested to see, they're requesting documentation on these deals. The FTC wants to see whether or not these what's in these deals. Like, are these deals really favoring Microsoft, or are they good deals for Microsoft and the third-party providers that they've entered deals with? So those are the things they're looking for. And Microsoft, up until this point, has refused, according to reports today. I don't know if you saw this, Ham Solo, but there were a couple of reports out there that stated the FTC has requested third-party the deals, the documents of the third-party deals from Microsoft, and Microsoft has refused on 24 occasions to provide the FTC with this information. So that's where we at. That's where we are right now. Again, I'm going to do another BRAP rant on this, because I don't want to talk about it on this show because there's a lot to talk about. But I just wanted to give an update, kind of what's happening more recently, in light of the deals that they're making with these cloud service providers, and the FTC's request to see what to see what these deals entail. So that's where we are. But I'm going to do a BRAP rant. I don't know when I'm going to do this BRAP rant. It may be tomorrow, maybe tomorrow afternoon at some point. I may do this BRAP rant to talk about this, or maybe Friday. We'll see. Actually, the NCAA tournament. Speaking of sports, NCAA tournament starts tomorrow.
Oh, I mean, I haven't cared about the NCAA tournament in years.
Oh man, it's the best time of the year.
I think the last time I paid attention to the NCAA tournament is when, what was that one team in Florida that made it to like the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or something like that? It was like, wasn't like Dayton or I don't know, Florida Gulf Coast.
Was it Florida Gulf? I don't remember, man.
There was this team called Florida Gulf Coast or something like that, I think, that made it to like where they shouldn't have been, and that was like the last time. And this is going back all the way to like 2012 or 2013 or 14 or something. This is before I moved to Denver, so a long time ago.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to. There was one year when it was, who was it? Oh, it was a small school in Virginia.
I don't know.
Hey, Rodimus, I think Game Logic just provides you an example of your question, by the way. And you can easily Google this stuff too, Rodimus. I'm trying. Wait, there was. Oh man, I can't remember now. There was a team that went to the Final Four, and this was like 2006. Jeez, I didn't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's why I can't remember, man, because I'm getting old. But look, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for
almost 20 years back.
I know, man. I know. I was like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. So it's 17 years ago. Yeah. But no, I'm excited for March Madness. It's my favorite time. So the point is, I will at some point try to do this rant, but because I do have some other things I want to talk about, get a little more specific, because I don't want to devote too much time on that topic on this particular stream right now. I want to focus more on kind of the news, the more recent developments, and then kind of dig through all that on another show. But anyhow, so all right, Ham Solo. So I got to ask you one more question before we wrap up the show. What's your most anticipated game of 2023?
Oh man, I'm finna disappoint some people.
Go ahead, man.
Because it's not Star. All right, so I'm not sure if this game doesn't have a release date yet, so it could possibly not come this year. So in case of that happening, I'm gonna go on ahead and say Starfield. But if this game did come out this year, then it'd be it. And that game is Ark Survival Evolved 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is that the one with, is that Vin Diesel?
It's all about family.
Is that Vin Diesel? Yeah, it's Vin Diesel, right?
Yes, sir. It's about family.
Oh, man.
I actually do a stream every Monday on my channel, TSWS Gaming, shameless plug. But every Monday, me or my wife or me and my father-in-law, her dad, or all of us, me, her, my father-in-law, and my buddy Dustin from back in Nebraska, will play Ark every Monday on my channel. And it's all about family stream, and it's just us playing Ark. And
that's awesome,
we have a base that we've been working on for like the last few months. But we've all played that game since when it was in game preview back in like 2016, I want to say, or 2015, one of those two. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic having a friend from back in my home state, my wife and her dad into gaming. I think that's freaking amazing. I would have never dreamt of anything like that as a kid, but I'm making it happen. And although I don't have like the biggest amount of followers or whatnot, I'm still growing. I only got like 525 or something like that. It's still really cool to have done as much as I have playing games. And then now I went from being kind of a loser kid that played football and played a lot of video games. Now I got a wife and a daughter and a father-in-law and a friend that are all down to play with me on stream, and I think that's just insane.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. That really is awesome. I mean, look, man, as divisive as Twitter gaming can be, it's good to hear. It's good to know that gaming does actually bring people together.
Oh, absolutely. I only dabble in Twitter more or less to keep up with the news and be able to support my channel and figure stuff out. I love meeting new people. I talk to new people all the time within gaming. But if like I've had a few people ask me, pick a side, and I'm like, I'm not at war. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's weird, man.
Like,
yeah,
like I'll play my PlayStation when I want to. And I've been down with my Xbox ever since the original Xbox when I could put music on my console. That's what got me to be an Xbox gamer was when I came over to a buddy's house and he was playing Conflict Desert Storm. We're running in the middle of the sand. He hits start, goes to the audio menu, and throws on Better Days by Tupac. I was sold.
Yep.
I was sold. And ever since then, I've been on Xbox.
Yeah, that console was great, man. They were really doing some really cool things back then.
The internal memory and all that was insane.
Yeah,
ripping CDs.
It was, yeah. Great. I remember ripping my own customized soundtracks. I remember GTA San Andreas supporting customized soundtracks, and
they had the tape A and B.
Yep, I had my customized soundtrack loaded up for that game. I mean, it was a great system, man. I did drop the link to Ham Solo's YouTube channel, so please check out Ham Solo. I'll be on there tomorrow as well, and But the one thing I want to address something here. Shadow News says, "Well, Blockbuster did not jump on the streaming bandwagon. Look what happened. They actually did get into streaming.
Yeah, they did. They failed.
But Blockbuster issue was Netflix wasn't necessarily what killed Blockbuster or streaming. It was Blockbuster's own undoing was it's basically leveraged to hell. They were owned by, I think, Viacom or something, and they basically just leveraged the hell out of Blockbuster. Basically, put them out of business. There's a documentary. There's a documentary about this. It was actually self-inflicted by Netflix, and not necessarily Netflix or not getting into streaming that really killed them.
It was either Netflix or Redbox that I don't remember which one that Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy to continue in service with what they
Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix.
Okay, so exactly. Yeah. So like whenever people say like, "Oh man, Netflix killed Blockbuster," I'm like, "No, man, like Blockbuster killed Blockbuster. They're way too stubborn."
Yeah. But there's a great documentary on it that talks about that. It's basically self-inflicted by Blockbuster. Like they killed themselves. It wasn't so much that Netflix and streaming or anything like that. They had streaming when Netflix, because I remember you would buy DVDs and it had the Blockbuster app. I used the Blockbuster app to stream movies at the time. But yeah, there's a documentary, ironically enough, on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but that goes into that. Yeah. So anyhow, but look, I heard you mention Starfield. That's actually my most anticipated game of 2023. I'm looking forward to Starfield. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Spider-Man is close, but I'm just kind of.
I would say Spider-Man's close for me too.
I've seen it enough.
Yeah, Spider-Man's close for me, but I'm a big Bethesda fan. They sit in my backyard.
Oh, they do, don't they?
Yeah, they're right in my backyard. That. Yeah, I actually interviewed there. I almost went to go work there. It'll be 2 years ago now. I do have friends, former colleagues that work there right now. Look, we talked about the original Xbox. I mean, Morrowind. That's that Elder Scrolls game. That was just a game changer. So, but yeah, no, I am. I cannot wait for Starfield. I mean, this is Todd Howard's first new IP in like 20-something years. So I'm hyped. But
yeah, I remember you were one of the few people that said you were hyped after you watched the trailer. Everybody was dogging on it, and you seemed like you were. I'm not going to say that you didn't see anything didn't not see anything wrong, but I thought I remember you saying something about being pretty stoked that they came out and said something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was last year, back when they showed it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So,
do you think it's going to be 30 or 60? Or you think they're going to have the option or not?
Man, I'm thinking it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 30 on consoles, man.
I wouldn't be either, especially
just
after
given
like
the scope,
Tale and Gotham Knights and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, just given the scope. I'm going to play it on PC. I'm going to play it on PC.
I'm going to play it on both. I'm going to play it on both. I got a 3080 here ready to go, and my Series X, and I have a Series S in my front room. So I'm gonna be playing it on 3 different consoles. I'm gonna try it out on each place, see what it's like. I'm gonna see if the Series S is really holding back dope games.
I'm not gonna touch that conversation, man. I'm just like, that's a conversation like we've had so many times, like, early in the generation. I'm just like, it is what it is at this point,
It sure is. It's the card that was dealt.
Yeah. But yeah. So, but no, look, I also think regarding 2023, like as we talk about like our most anticipated games, I got to say that we this year started off like just great. It started off really good in terms of games. It really has. Like I obviously, I mean, like the pandemic impacted, production pipeline, but I think this year has really, really picked up. I feel like there's so many great games that are coming out. It was funny, like I have the TV playing in the background, and I saw the new Jedi Survivor or whatever it's called. The new one that's coming out.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, they're showing commercials, and the game releases in April. Hey, real quick, I want to welcome B Money. What's up, B?
What's going on?
No much, man. We're just wrapping up the show here, and as actor, a good guest here, Ham Solo, like what his most anticipated game of 2023 was. B, what is your most anticipated game of 2023 right now, man?
I don't know.
He wants to see that Stella Blade booty.
No, the yams.
I don't know. It's probably something that hasn't been announced yet, to be totally honest. Like there's a lot of like little games that I'm looking forward to. Nothing that I could think of that's that's at the top of my head. As far as like most anticipated game. I mean, because NCAA doesn't come out until next year.
You said it.
So I mean, I'll probably say something that's releasing pretty soon. Probably MLB The Show, just because they're highlighting the Negro League this year. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll say that for now.
Yeah, I hear you, man. What is the NCAA game coming up? What is that?
It's coming out next year. It was supposed to come out this year.
Like
they pushed
summer?
it back.
Summer of next year or something?
Yeah, summer of next year. Yeah. Yeah, my man Scott OG is heading that. So my man Scott OG used to be one of the executives over at 2K and ran NBA 2K for a long time. He went over to EA.
Oh, nice.
Maybe about 5 years
fantastic.
ago. And yeah, Scott OG is heading the NCAA game. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really, Access Football is they Otis Games. They bought the franchise, and that's looking pretty good too. So I'll throw that in there as well.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
What was that game that Flemlo was working on? I thought, or like that he had money in a football game. I forgot what it was called. It's supposed to be like a college football game.
I'm not sure.
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah. B, real quick question, man. Look, we gonna get anything? Are we gonna get anything from Sony anytime soon, man?
I told you, man. After her fiscal year.
What is that?
Fiscal year ends this month.
Okay. So like April-ish?
I'd probably say May. To be honest, it'll probably happen before E3. They're not really gonna do anything much around E3 as far as like having a big showcase. Because they'll be featured. They'll have stuff featured at Jeff Keighley's show. So and Sony's all about kind of absorbing all the noise. You know what I mean? So they don't want to be kind of surrounded with everybody else. So they'll do something on their own prior to that, and then I would expect something in the fall prior to Spider-Man coming out later this year. That we'll have another ramp up of stuff to kind of expect for 2024.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, because we do know that Factions is Naughty Dog's next game, Factions 2. So I'm wondering, do you think we'll see that this year?
Oh yeah, we'll see that at Jeff Keighley show.
Oh, so you think it's gonna be a Jeff Keighley show then?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay.
That'll be at Jeff Keighley show.
Oh man, I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait for that.
I'm looking forward to seeing, kind of how they roll that out, and if people are going to be receptive to it, because a lot of people talk about factions like they actually played it, but a lot of people didn't play factions. A lot of people hype it up like, oh, I can't wait for this, I can't wait for this. Like, y'all motherfuckers ain't ready for that, man. Like, excuse my French, but like for real, like when people hype stuff up like that, like I know you weren't in those streets playing that game for real. Because people who play factions are still playing it right now. You could get on factions right now and get in the game right away. Like no wait time, no nothing. You know what I mean? So like if you play factions or you hyped about factions, people are you still playing that game to this day. And I hop in there every once in a while. Factions is a dope game. It's a strategic game. It's not a run and gun game. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not Call of Duty. It's not, you know what I mean? Nothing like that. It takes strategy, you know what I mean? It takes a little bit of thinking, and it's a totally different game. So people who are into that are really looking forward to it. I think they'll be happy with what's shown later this year.
Yeah. All right, man. That's good, man. Like I'm definitely looking forward to that. I would like to see more stuff from Sony though. They have been awfully quiet,
Have they?
Here's my okay. So
what are we comparing it to?
I want to see a big show like they showed that when they showed off like Night Kotar and all that. That's what I want to see. They've been giving us some stuff, and obviously they've been releasing content. But I want to see a big show like the one they had when they showed off Kotar and I forget what else.
When did they show that off?
That was like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it got pushed back last year with the dev. So yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not really tripping. Like we see, like I was saying the other day, all the big publishers are fumbling the bag right now. So like, it's a lot of these games that we're getting excited for, people aren't playing them, people aren't buying them. You know what I mean? Like they're being discounted like right away. So like I'm good with the games I'm playing right now. Like I'm not like there's not a bunch of games that I'm super excited for this year. There's a bunch of stuff coming that it's just like I'll get to it when I get to it. You know what I mean? So for me, like it's not a big deal. Like just because I kind of know what's going on over at Sony, so it's not something where it's like, oh, I got to see this or I got to know that. Like I do know some of the stuff that's going on over there, so I don't know.
So you're not concerned?
Nah, not at all.
I hear you, man. I hear you. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show. Ham Solo, man, it's a pleasure having you on, man. Great conversation. Looking forward to being on your show tomorrow. And I did drop a link in the live chat. I'll do it again real quick. Please, everyone, check out Ham Solo's YouTube channel. I'm gonna drop the link right now again. So please go over there and check it out. And Ham Solo, let everyone know they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me on. Anytime you need or want me to hop on with you, just holler at me. Give me just as much notice as you gave me last time. It's fine. As long as it's not day of, it's fine. But yeah, you can check out my channel, TSWS Gaming, on YouTube. I've talked to various people all over the world of gaming. Tomorrow, as BRAP said, he'll be on. I do shows Monday through Friday. One of them's a game stream, and the rest of them are more or less talking about news or just having a good time talking about gaming and whatnot. But but the show that's tomorrow is Behind Them Sticks with BRAP. But I've had other people on, like Strictly Gaming. I've had Seamus Blackley on, the creator of Xbox. I've had all sorts of people on, Randall Thor 19, yada yada yada. But anyways, if you guys want to check out the channel, please do so. We're looking to try to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But who knows what'll happen. I'm gonna be grinding either way. So if I don't hit the target, try again next year.
No doubt, man.
It's how
No
it
doubt.
is. Hey, it's how it works around here, man. You just gotta keep going.
Yeah, man, just gotta keep going, man. Absolutely, absolutely. So, but no, man, definitely pleasure having you on. Definitely need to get you back on again soon, man. So, and then B Money, hey man, Battlefield 2042. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it, man.
Hey, you ain't about that life. It's okay. Stay over there playing them 6v6 Call of Duty matches.
Hey, easy there, man. Easy with that. Easy with the Call of Duty slander.
Okay. It's okay, man.
He said he was playing Halo earlier.
Yeah, I was playing Halo earlier.
You can play the kindergarten. The kindergarten war shooter. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a challenge. Hey, let me tell you something, B. I used to play Battlefield back in the days a lot. Matter of fact, it was Battlefield. Was it Bad Company 2?
Bad Company 2 was amazing.
Was it? What was the map? Arica Harbor.
Yeah, Rika Harbor. Yeah.
That was my go-to map. It might have been another map I played regularly, but it was me and somebody else I used to game with, and we would hop in the tank, and we were both engineers, and man, we would get surgical with the tank. And like I'd hop out, get repairs. We had a system going, man. It was insane, and we were just getting nasty with the tank, man. It wasn't even fair.
Yeah. I was playing last night, and I usually don't usually get in vehicles, but somebody on my squad they hopped in a tank, so I hopped in there with them, and somebody else was in there, and that guy was an engineer. I was playing assault, and every time somebody tried to take us down, the guy would just pull over, out of the battle, and the engineer would get in there, repair the tank, and we just get right back to it, just blowing buildings up, taking people out, taking helicopters down. Like it was a good time, man.
Yeah, if you Game Logic says, don't give Battlefield credit for Bad Company. Bad Company was something special. Battlefield is poo poo. But yeah, man, if you get a good engineer, somebody who knows how to drive the tank, who knows how to use the cannon, and the the 50 cal,
Yeah.
you could do some damage. And I remember that was a lot of fun. But I might hop on B Money. I might give it another try, man. I played it when it was in beta and didn't really resonate with me. Maybe I'll try it again, man.
Yeah, I still go back and play Battlefield 4 sometimes. Like that game is still amazing to me.
Which one was Battlefield 4? Was that the one with the Metro map?
Yeah.
Yes, that one was. Yes, that's probably the last time I really played Battlefield a lot. Was when we used to play like Operation Metro like all the time. It was Operation Metro, and there was another map I used to play all the time.
Oh yeah, it was on Battlefield 3 and 4.
Gosh, I remember just Operation Metro just being insane, man.
Yeah,
like insane.
Yeah. Great times on Battlefield, man. I love like big warfare like that. You know what I mean? Where it's I don't know. It's a lot of fun. You got helicopters in the sky. You got jets in the sky.
Yeah, see,
jumping out of the air and parachutes, and
I don't know, man.
It's a lot of fun, man. And then it's the map is so big. It's it's different type of war going over in different sections of the map, and I play a lot of like Rush. So like the action is always going on. Like it's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll give it a shot. Looks like True Serum says 2042 is free on PlayStation Plus this month. Well, that's okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's been on Xbox for a little while. The last time I got into a Battlefield, I think it was Hardline.
Hardline was actually pretty good.
Yeah, Hardline was cool. I
wasn't bad.
I like the campaign for Hardline.
Campaign for Hardline was pretty good,
yeah.
Was that Amy Hennig who's behind that? Or am I making that up?
I'm not sure. I don't
Visceral?
think so.
Is that Visceral, right?
Yeah, Visceral did the did that game, but I don't think Amy Hennig had anything to do with it.
Okay.
Her name hasn't been on the game in almost 10 years now since she left on Naughty Dog.
Yeah. I mean, she worked on what's it called?
Yeah, she worked on Forspoken.
Forspoken, yeah.
But she just came. She came in the door and wrote her name on the paper and got the hell up out of there. Because if you played that game, you know Amy Hennig didn't do much work on it because it doesn't have her mark on it at all.
Yeah.
It seemed like the writers were all like, "Yo, we don't want no part of this."
That seemed like that was something she probably did prior to, signing her new deal and being over where she's at now, and she, kind of had a part in that because I think they were developing that for, quite some time now.
Yeah,
and that's probably kind of how that happened because it doesn't have her fingerprints or her blueprint on that game at all. So,
yeah,
I am looking forward to the project she is working on though, with the the original Black Panther and Captain America. It seems like it could be a pretty good story.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah. Yes, I remember Marathon by Bungie. Hamp, do you remember that? But yeah, no, B Money. Thanks. Yeah, go ahead, man.
So they're bringing that back.
Are they bringing Marathon back?
Yeah, they're retooling Marathon. Marathon will be back.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, look, thank you everyone on the panel. Ham Solo, B Money. Thank you again, gentlemen. And thank you everyone in the live chat. Appreciate your time as always. And check me on Ham Solo's channel tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Is it 8 p.m. Eastern time? 7 p.m. your time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 8
p.m. Eastern. I'm Central, but I always use Eastern.
Yeah, so 8 p.m. Eastern time will be on Ham Solo. I'll be on with Ham Solo. So definitely come hang out with us tomorrow night as well. And B, I don't know if you want to be found, B, but if you want to let everyone know where they can find you, please let them know. If not, I completely understand.
You can find me everywhere. Same name, B Money 101. I'll just be on Battlefield. So if you want to play, hit me up. You know what I mean? That's my gamer tag everywhere. I'm down to play. So
no doubt. Well, all right, gentlemen. Well, thank you again for your time. Again, thank you everyone in the live chat. Appreciate it. Keep an eye out for the BRAP rant. I'm going to talk more about the new cloud deals Microsoft's made and their refusal to hand over documents to the FTC, which is kind of interesting. We'll talk a little bit about that in depth. But no, thank you again. Please hit that like button. If you haven't done so, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you're alerted when we go live. And everyone, enjoy the rest of the week. Hey, and more importantly, enjoy playing video games. That's what it's about. It's about having fun and playing video games. Just having fun. So we'll catch you next time. Thank you.